If you had one shot or one opportunity to seize everything you ever wanted in one moment, would you capture it or just let it slip? Yo. His palms are sweaty, knees weak, arms are heavy. There's vomit on his sweater already. Mom's spaghetti, he's nervous, but on the surface he looks calm and ready to drop bombs. But he keeps on forgetting what he wrote down. The whole crowd goes so loud, he opens his mouth, but the words won't come out. He's choking how? Everybody's choking now. The clock's run out, time's up, over, loud. Snap back to reality. Oh, there goes gravity. Oh, there goes rabbit. He choke. He's so mad, but he won't give up. Daddies, he know he won't have it. He knows his whole back to these ropes. It don't matter, he's dope. He knows that, but he's broke. He's so stacked that he knows when he goes back to this mobile home, that's when it's back to the lab again, yo. This old rhapsody better go back to this moment and hope it don't pass him.
Listen, we can talk about the flag, but let's talk about... Wait.
And a very good morning, everybody. Welcome to Trending in the AM right here on DSM Media Live, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube. You know the drill. Like, share, retweet, follow all the different social media accounts that we have at DSM Media and our personal accounts. Myself, I'm the host, Phil Stiefel at Bearded Knowledge. Joining me today, Jason Voorhees at Mustang3651. We've got a jam-packed show, but I got to start it out first. Make sure you like and subscribe this video on YouTube if you're watching now or on replay. We are running, I am running a contest. I will personally hand somebody 2 free Eagles tickets to a game in 2022 of their choice at the open practice on August 7th. If by the first day of training camp, July 26th, we hit 1,000 subscribers. It's a bold reach. It's a bold ask. But let me tell you something. I will personally hand you 2 tickets to any game of your choice. Hell, we'll go right to the ticket box office and buy the tickets right there on the spot to any game you want. So let's get that to 1,000 subscribers. Like, subscribe. If you're watching on other social media platforms, head over to the DSM YouTube page and get that done. So we got a jam-packed show today. Like I said, we're going to talk Phillies and recap the loss again. Now they're at 3 games in a row that they've lost. But we're going to start today's show off with a little football talk, with a little Eagles talk. The Jalen Hurts versus Derrick Gunn, the Derrick Gunn versus A.J. Brown and Jalen Hurts story, the practice story. Jason, we're talking practice. I hate that line, but it's like perfect to set up the show today. We're talking practice. All right, so let's backtrack. Let's recap. For those that don't know, Derrick Gunn put out a report late last week about a very bad practice in OTAs that Jalen Hurts had. In a 10-play span, he got sacked 3 times. He threw 4 incompletions and 3 interceptions in a 10-game span or 10-play span. And that's Derrick Gunn, the legend. One of the most respected voices in Philadelphia Eagles media coverage. One of the most respected voices, period, in Philadelphia sports reporting ever. And he's putting this out. And then, of course, A.J. Brown coming out and backing up his quarterback, as he should, and then later making jokes. In a 10-play series, Jalen threw 3 touchdowns to me. Donovan and T.O. fought 4 of the plays, and Vince Papale came out of retirement and had 3 other catches, which I'm kind of surprised A.J. Brown knows who Vince Papale is. He's kind of a cult hero to us, but didn't know he was so well-known to other receivers around the league. So we've got 2 different sides of the story, Jason, and I want to dive into this. And I know where you're going to go with this and your thoughts on it, but I think there's a lot of different avenues on this. And the first piece of it is that OTAs were closed other than 45 minutes to reporters, and not one other reporter that was there saw this happen. So it had to be information that was fed to Derrick Gunn during a period of time when reporters weren't watching. So this is secondhand information that Derrick Gunn is reporting, and either he was, fed false information, he was fed information that somebody within the organization wanted leaked out, or Derrick Gunn is just making some clickbait material up because he's part of the new Jacob Media, who is live right now, because we were the first morning show. We are the first ones live on YouTube every single morning, trending in the AM. We're the first. We're the trendsetter. Now Jacob Media, the new media company, got a lot of big timers over there that have left their dial, and they're working on Jacob Media, the McMullins, the McMahons, the Atons of the world, Derrick Gunn, Barrett Brooks, they're all over there. You might go listen to them because you guys know them. You should be listening to us because we're the trendsetters. We started this whole trend of morning shows on YouTube every single day. So it could have been just Derrick Gunn. The heads at Jacob Media, we need something. We need something to spark this morning show to get more people tuning in. Give us some clickbait material. As Mark's chiming in, it is hard to, and this is my problem right now, is I have a lot of different theories on what it could be, but it's Derrick Gunn. I've been trained to believe every word that comes out of Derrick Gunn's mouth because the players respect him, the fans respect him, the organization respects him, other people around the league respect him, other reporters in other cities respect Derrick Gunn. Derrick Gunn is a Hall of Fame reporter. But this just seems so blatantly, obviously bullshit that it's hard to believe. So, Jason, when you saw all this unfold, I've been saving this topic for the right day, and I thought today was a great day to bring this topic up. When you first saw this report happen a few days ago, what was your initial thought process? Did it go right to bullshit, or did it go right to, this is Derrick Gunn reporting, there might be something to it?
I mean, you're right about you can't discredit Derrick Gunn, but my initial thought was, here we go again. Like, that was my exact thought. Here we go again. Like, here it is with the Hurts can't throw passes. He can't throw deep passes. He can't do this. He can't do that. Like, the narrative, I'm at the point right now, it's so frustrating that I can't wait to fast forward this season and have Jalen Hurts come out and, like, just shut up the critics. I'm just tired of it. Like, I'm hoping that by this time next year, those same critics that were bashing Hurts will actually be doing the opposite. They'll be saying, oh, Hurts is going to be a Hall of Famer, because that's what people in this town do. They overreact.
That's if Jalen Hurts
overreact. They take pieces of information and they take them out of context. And listen, we're talking about a practice. That's exactly it. A practice in which, by the way, I wasn't too happy with the way the Eagles kind of went down this road where they didn't want to practice that many times. Like, the rest of the league had more practices, but the Eagles took the position that we're not going to because of injuries. And okay, that's fine if that's their theory.
It worked last year for them going,
and that's fine. But this is part of the problem with that. This is what you're going to get when then the only few practices you have, Hurts might have one bad outing, and you're going to say, oh, well, that's the narrative, as opposed to, well, it was a bad day or whatever. He had a bad day on the practice field. Like, I don't think you could take one instance and make that the end all.
But see, my problem with what you're saying there is no proof or evidence that this actually even took place at practice.
I got that, but my point is I'm saying, I guess I'm taking the position that if you just asked me, can we discredit, Derrick Gunn? Well, I'm with you. I don't think you can. So I'm just taking it as if it is true. I'm looking at it, okay, if it was true and this happened on the practice field, my point is that I still think it's clickbait material, because it doesn't mean that Jalen Hurts hasn't improved or isn't going to be good this year. It's one day, and I'm just saying that it's the way that people get information and your mind processes it and you run with it. And so the Hurts haters are loving this because they're like, see. And then the ones that like back him, regardless, they're on the opposite end. They're like, bullshit. And I'm always in the middle. You know me. I always find myself in the middle. I'm never like high or low. I'm never to either extreme when it comes to Jalen Hurts. But I can't take this kind of reporting and change my opinion of Jalen Hurts. And as a fan, I want him to succeed. And it's kind of irritating to me, the amount of people that I see that they'll say it with their words that they want him to succeed. But then every single take that you see them have on Twitter or on social media or whatever is to the opposite. It's that they want him to fail.
Yeah.
And it pisses me off, honestly.
So you hit on an interesting point, and I was going to save this for like the second or third part of this topic and discussion, is all the people that want him to fail. and all the people. And let's be honest, there's a part of the organization that is not sold on Jalen Hurts. And there are still reports every single day from insiders that the front office, whether it's Howie Roseman, Jeffrey Lurie, both of them, are not sold on Jalen Hurts because of they want a quarterback that's going to throw for 5,000 yards, 45 touchdowns, because that's what you see the Joe Burrows of the world, the Justin Herberts of the world, Pat Mahomes of the world. That's what you see. So could this be? And now Jeffrey Lurie would never get caught. He's too smart for this. Could this have been a situation? Now, this is a very long, drawn-out scenario. This is me watching too many conspiracy theories, TV shows. Jeffrey Lurie goes to his son, Julian, your first assignment as, the owner in waiting, I need you to go leak this information to Derrick Gunn and make sure Derrick Gunn puts it out there to keep stirring the pot a little bit so that when we decide to move on from Jalen Hurts, whether it's midseason, because there are reports from insiders saying that if Jalen Hurts struggles at first, they will not hesitate to pull the trigger and move on from a midseason. Is this just the front office pulling some strings to set the fan base up, not to be surprised because they are not sold? Some of us fans are. Nick Sirianni is. Even Howie Roseman, to an extent, I think, is sold on Jalen Hurts in 2022. But there's a lot of people that aren't. Is this just kind of maybe the front office, the people there, whether it's Jeffrey Lurie or Howie Roseman, throwing little seeds out there? And look, Derrick Gunn's got the connections. I'm sure Derrick Gunn has Jeffrey Lurie and Howie Roseman's cell phone number, and they probably have his. Is this them maybe pulling on a little string here and, leak this information, say this, whether it's true or not, and then Derrick Gunn, instead of verifying the information, just ran with it because of his relationship with these people in the front office? It's just a little conspiracy theory that I had in the back of my head here. Are you there, Jason? I think we lost Jason. I don't know where Jason is. Anyway, I'm going to continue on with this theory. Look, we know there's somebody in this front office that isn't a fan of Howie or of Jalen Hurts. Sorry, losing Jason there. He's frozen. Look at that look at that. I want a snapshot that he left. I was going to take a snapshot of that face that he got frozen on there. We know there's people in the front office that are not fans of Jalen Hurts. Could there be a scenario? And this comes back to, hard to discredit Derrick Gunn, but could Derrick Gunn be at the point in his career where he's just taking the information? Casey says I'm onto something. He's taking the information that is being fed to him, and he's trusted these people, for his entire career, that he's just running with the story. And yes, he is part of Derrick Gunn, a new media outlet. He's part of a new media outlet that went from one show a week to now it's got shows literally. I mean, Jacob Media is on the air 12, 13 hours a day with live shows. They got sponsors now that are, they have to, make happy. Could this just be Derrick Gunn? I'm going to run with this information. Sorry. What's up, Jason?
I don't know what happened there.
I know what happened. I got such a great point. It was like a mic drop, and you're just like, the show's over. Let me get done. How much of my theory there did you hear about the front office leaking this information?
I heard the whole theory, and I think it's possible. I guess my opinion of this whole thing is that, and I think KC hits it perfectly, that the AJ Brown tweet is the only thing that's really real about the whole thing. Like, although he came out and joked, I think AJ Brown coming to the Philadelphia Eagles should tell you.
This is what happened to you, Jason, just so you know. Derrick Gunn heard us talking about him, and he's got a computer hacker in the background. He tried shutting us down. He tried to shut us down, Derrick Gunn. That's how
absolutely very possible. That's part of the conspiracy.
The most ugly picture of Derrick Gunn I could find on the thumbnail that previews the show. So Derrick Gunn got a little upset that I picked such a bad picture. Just hey, I love Derrick Gunn. I just want, before you get your thoughts on it, I love Derrick Gunn. I respect Derrick Gunn. I've interviewed Derrick Gunn in the past on other shows I was a part of. So I love Derrick Gunn. But sorry, I don't want people to think I hate Derrick Gunn. I just had to throw that out there. Continue.
Nobody thinks you hate the guy, but the bottom line here is
questioning his work right now. So there could be that.
You're allowed to question. That's part of what this is. I mean, honestly, the fact that A.J. Brown picked the Eagles tells me all I need to know about how he believes in Hurts. Because you can call the guy a diva. You know, you can say that, you know, will he feel the same way if Jalen Hurts is struggling? The ultimate point is that he had the ability to choose where he wanted to go. He picked the Eagles. He wanted to come here. He could have went other places. He had better options to go with other quarterbacks. He chose here. That, to me, tells me that he believes in Jalen Hurts. And I'm going to be honest. If an NFL wide receiver believes in a quarterback, I buy that a lot more than any of the fans. I buy that any more than any of us in DSM. I buy that more than anybody his opinion on Jalen Hurts. So, to me, I'm looking at this as somewhat clickbait. You know, is it possible that Jalen Hurts struggled in a practice? I don't think the whole thing's made up. I don't think it's fabricated. But
to say he went 0 for 10, you know, or 10 straight negative plays.
Whatever it was. I mean, like I said, it's definitely like, what's the word? Exaggerated. The way that it was, you know, I mean, that's what reports are. I mean, you can make a report and you can make it seem however drastic you want by the way you word it.
Absolutely.
I mean, let's face it. I mean, the bottom line is, like I said, I don't feel that.
I think you make a great point with the wide receiver, because if you look around the league, it's not like how many big name wide receivers changed. And do you think Tyreek Hill was leaving Kansas City and Patrick Mahomes if he didn't have a little bit of confidence that Tua and Jalen Waddle and Gesicki could be a good offense? You don't think Devontae Adams wasn't going to leave Aaron Rodgers unless he had a little confidence in Derrick Gunn? You didn't see these guys getting traded to the New England Patriots with Mac Jones or Seattle with Geno Smith. You didn't see them get traded to, you know, any of these cities with lesser quarterbacks behind the helm. You had them going to teams with established quarterbacks or quarterbacks that were up on the up and up that have some question marks. But these guys, I mean, A.J. Brown is not going to commit to 4 years at $100 million. He could have probably gotten a little bit more than that somewhere else. But he committed to the Eagles because of Jalen Hurts. Because he's got confidence in Jalen Hurts that not just Jalen Hurts is a good quarterback, but Jalen Hurts could lead this team. All these wide receivers, all these football players, period. They want one thing. Well, two things. They want money and they want a Super Bowl title. He got some money. He could have gotten maybe a little bit more elsewhere. But he has confidence that he can make a run at the Super Bowl with Jalen Hurts at the helm.
Yeah, I mean, the guy is, like I said, I mean, I think you can look at other things. I mean, you look at all the reports that were to the contrary over the summer. I mean, or over the spring, like that Hurts has improved. He's shown all the, you know, all these reports that were coming out that, you know, his arm strength seems like it's getting better and he seems like he's starting to be able to read defenses better. And then, like I said, bam, one report comes out from a guy like Derrick Gunn, and now all of a sudden it's like up in smoke. Like, now here we go again, back to like, is Hurts the guy? Like, dude, he is the guy in 2022. We all agree. If he doesn't do well this year, yes, the Eagles will move on from him. But stop with the nonsense. Stop with the – I dealt with this when we dealt with the whole Wentz drama. We don't need drama. Like, God, doesn't it get frustrating to you? Like, I want to enjoy this. I want to enjoy what we could have. I don't want to, you know, keep seeing debates on whether, God, can Jalen Hurts throw a football? I mean,
and George is bringing up a great point. There's got to be some truth to both sides of the situation. You know, Derrick Gunn might be somewhat right. Maybe he didn't go 10 straight plays where he was sacked or got intercepted.
Well, that's what I said.
But maybe, according to, maybe A.J. Brown, coming here specifically because of Jalen, maybe there's a little middle ground in there. And again, partially backtracking to my theory about the front office leaking this information, Look, there is no surprise that the front office isn't sold on Jalen Hurts. So maybe he is having, and Freddie Defo put it up here somewhere earlier. It was the first set of practices. Maybe he was a little rusty because of the lack of practice. He had a lot of new pieces, A.J. Brown, all different new things being, put into play. They were just 7-on-7s. It wasn't like it was a full offense. So maybe there's a little truth in the middle there.
I always think there's middle. There's always truth to something.
So maybe there's something to it that they're just putting it out there just to prepare us. We don't want the drama. I know that. And we all agree, whether we're a Hurts truther or a Hurts hater, we all agree that 2022 is Jalen Hurts' year, at least to start. Maybe this is really just the front office preparing ourselves that unless Jalen Hurts has this amazing run and that they have no choice but to anoint him the guy of the future, they're just preparing the truth. The guys that are for Jalen Hurts, preparing them. Look, he's not the guy. They've got the 2 first round. Now, I was before we even got in the studio before the show, I was trying to run through my head quarterbacks around the league that the Eagles could either trade for now or potentially next year that would be better. And there really isn't any. I mean, are we really going to move on from Jalen Hurts for next year for Jimmy Garoppolo or before he got traded? Before he got traded, were we really going to move on from Jalen Hurts for Baker Mayfield or Sam Darnold? There's not many options in the league. But this is a really good team if you take the quarterback situation out of it. We've got a lot of great weapons, the best offensive line in football, a great defense on paper. We'll see if Jonathan Gannon can, put it all together or not. We have 2 first-round picks. So I always say first-round quarterbacks fail, like top-tier first-round quarterbacks fail because they go to bad teams normally. The worst teams pick first, second, third. So again, if we have 2 first-round picks, we package them and we get in the top 5, whoever you get as a rookie quarterback is going to be coming into a great situation. So maybe this is just the front office planting those seeds, preparing us for the future that, okay, KC's got something here. Okay, week 6, we're 1-4. Hurts the team, leads the league in passing yards, top 12 in interception touchdown percentage. You ship him. If we're 1-4, but he's passing really well. So the complete opposite. I think we're going to win a lot of games early, but he might not have the greatest passing yards. You're flipping the script if he can't lead us to victory, even though he's playing really well.
I have an interesting thought for you.
Okay.
So who do you think at this moment in time? Well, obviously in this moment in time, I'm going to go Ryan Tannehill. But who do you think's better quarterback, Ryan Tannehill or Jalen Hurts?
Why would you pick one of my favorite, most underrated quarterbacks in the league?
Because this is why
I like Ryan Tannehill.
Well, no, I actually love Ryan Tannehill, and I think I'm exactly with you. But I look at what Ryan Tannehill did, not last year, because A.J. Brown was hurt last year, and so was Julio Jones. Remember they traded for Julio Jones, and, he did nothing. So Tannehill had an off year, but I'm looking at what Tannehill did the year prior. Look at Tannehill's numbers from that year.
Oh, I know Ryan Tannehill's numbers.
Okay,
so are you talking about
similar offense? It's a similar
question. Your question, are you talking about Ryan Tannehill versus Jalen Hurts just this year or going forward to build your team around?
I'm just saying both. I mean, because Ryan Tannehill will be available. My point is I'm asking people, that aren't sold on Hurts, who is better? Who do you want? My answer always is, who would we get? Like, I wanted Russell Wilson. I think people that disagreed with that don't know football. Like, if you didn't want Russell Wilson over Jalen Hurts, then I don't know what to tell you. But what are the other options is what I'm saying, okay? If you're going to draft a guy, who's coming out? Like, I don't know. These are all questions that I have, and I get frustrated.
To answer you the Ryan Tannehill thing, Casey's making a great point. Ryan Tannehill had Derrick Henry and A.J. Brown, and they had a pretty solid defense. They did get to the AFC Championship game 2 years ago, was it? They get to the championship game or just to the semifinals? I forget. They won a game or two in the playoffs a couple of years ago. Ryan Tannehill will be 34 in 2 weeks. So if you're just talking about just for 2022, I'd probably take Ryan Tannehill on this squad we've got over Jalen Hurts. But Hurts is a winner. He's got that killer mentality. He's going to do whatever it takes to win. But he's also 10 years younger than Ryan Tannehill. So if I'm building my squad for the next 3 to 5 years, I'll probably take the chance over Jalen Hurts, over the known commodity Tannehill, just because, let's be honest, Ryan Tannehill, he's 34. He's already had, 1 or 2 ACL tears in his career, one in college and one in the pros. Ryan Tannehill's, some quarterbacks will go to 38, 40 years old. Ryan Tannehill's taken a beating in his career. I don't know if I would take that situation. Yeah, I mean, Watson and Wilson didn't want to come to Philly. I don't know if that's accurate or not. Would they have changed their mind, Watson and Wilson, if they knew what the final product of the offseason of the Eagles, getting A.J. Brown, improving the defense, what the draft brought us? Would that have changed Russell Wilson and Deshaun Watson's mind? Because obviously today, this team is much better than it was at the end of the season. All the moves as a whole are kind of making this a better team. I don't know. Do you think if because some say it's true, some say it don't. If the Wilson and Watson didn't want to come here part was true, do you think the offseason moves Howie made, Jason, would have changed their opinion?
I mean, absolutely. But I think Russell Wilson was kind of dead set on going west. I think, obviously Denver has.
I still think it's insane.
A great setup. Obviously. And I didn't bring up Ryan Tannehill because I'm trying. See, this is where I get frustrated. I was bringing it up to show that Ryan Tannehill, many people say, is a terrible quarterback, and what he was able to put up huge numbers in that offense. Yes, he had Derrick Henry. I agree. That's a better weapon. But my point is you got to give the guy a chance. Like, nobody even wants to give Jalen Hurts a chance this year. It's just frustrating. Why can't we just let it play out? Why does it always have to be this way? Every year.
Let's get to the beginning question. Should we be questioning Derrick Gunn? Because Derrick Gunn, let me phrase this a different way. Derrick Gunn, not only is he respected, he has never, to my knowledge, fallen victim to the clickbait material. He's never been one. He's been more the buddy. You see him in post-game live, hugging, goofing around with Brandon Graham. He's got the respect of the players. We've never seen him fall victim to this. So again, should we be questioning Derrick Gunn falling victim to clickbait material?
Well, what is the actual report? Like verbatim.
His report was the specific words
that he had a bad practice.
Jalen Hurts went in a 10-play span in practice. Yes, he forgot to mention that it was 7-on-7s, okay, where no sacks are allowed. So he just said in practice there was a 10-play series where he went 3 interceptions, 4 incompletions, 3 sacks. So he basically had 10 negative plays in a row.
But how do you have sacks if you're not allowed to have sacks?
Not just you're not allowed to sack the quarterback, you're not allowed to pressure the quarterback in 7-on-7s. So it's not even like they got him, and it was in an 11-on-11 practice, they could put pressure, and then the defensive ends have to just pull up, and they just take the quarterback. So
how is that not clickbait then? How is it not clickbait? Because if it's not
Derrick Gunn, and I question myself if I have to question Derrick Gunn.
Well, I think you do.
Casey, I think you nailed it. I think he's part of our competition now. They worry about trending in the AM and DSM media. They know they've got to be better than us because we set the trends, and they're just trying to catch up to us. They only get more views because they got big famous names. Jason is the most famous name I know. So, I don't know. I really think that maybe, and you know what's really interesting, Jason? You might not see Derrick Gunn as friendly with the players this year now. Something like this, and then A.J. Brown and other Eagles standing up for Jalen Hurts. that word is going to circulate around the locker room.
Well, it's
Derrick
uncharacteristic.
Gunn's not as cool as he used to be. Let's not start buddying with this guy anymore because he's going to twist everything to get another click.
It's uncharacteristic, but at the end of the day, people have jobs to do. If he's in this company and they told him to do this, then I'm sure that's what he's going to do. Like, I don't necessarily think it makes Derrick Gunn a bad person, but I would say that, I would never change my values, for.
I agree.
If I believed in something, I would do the right thing. And to say that the guy got sacked when there can't be sacks, I mean, that to me is blatant lie. Yeah. I mean, why would you even say that? Now all of a sudden, yeah, of course it's clickbait because people read it and they're like, "Oh my God, Jalen Hurts was horrible. He was trash." In reality, it was a 7-on-7. Like, come on, be better.
I know AJ Brown is Jalen Hurts' boy. They're friends. They're best buddies. But again, I love in all of sports, and we can find this all over in sports in Philadelphia. When a player stands up for his teammate, whether it's a serious, because AJ Brown made the sarcastic comment about T.O. and McNabb fighting and Vince Papale coming out of retirement and all that. But he also made serious statements questioning this report.
I didn't think that was actually the funniest. I thought the funniest was that he believes that water's above us.
Oh, yeah. See,
he said, I wrote that. It's true.
Exactly. But hey, Kyrie Irving says the world's flat. He's part of the flat earth, conspiracy theorist. The dumbest of all sports takes from an athlete of all time, FYI. I love when players stick together on a team, when the locker room isn't fractured. Look, we can go back. You say you're tired of the whole, you were the Carson Wentz thing. There was a fractured locker room there. We aren't having a fractured locker room at this point because they're sticking together. They've got their quarterbacks back. And I know people will say this does not make him a better passer, but Jalen Hurts the leader, Jalen Hurts the intangibles, what he does to hold that locker room together has won me over. And yes, I might be blinded by that, but it has won me over. Yeah, you might have missed this, George, earlier in the show. I brought this up. The source he had may have an agenda. I was talking about earlier in the show, George, if you missed it, that maybe someone from the front office, maybe Jeffrey Lurie's camp or Howie Roseman's camp, whoever is the least, into Jalen Hurts, the quarterback of the future, might have leaked this information. So I definitely think that's a definite part of it right there. There's a world in week 4, no wins. AJ Brown is fighting off reporters and sends questions. It's possible. It's definitely possible. Yeah, wait till September. Exactly. But we need to talk about, we can't talk Phillies and Sixers every single day. And I think this is a fun topic.
George and I actually agree.
Yeah, exactly. We're not going to know who Jalen Hurts is, even in the preseason. Jason, do you agree with me? There is about an 85% chance that Jalen Hurts does not throw a pass in the preseason. I'll rephrase it. Over under 5 drives of offense for Jalen Hurts in the preseason games.
Under.
Exactly. So we're not even going to know till week 1 in Detroit.
Yeah, I think they're going to protect him at all costs, especially coming off the injury last year. I mean, you do have to look at that aspect. I mean, a lot of people have brought that up, that Jalen Hurts, yes, while his legs are extremely valuable to his game, and nobody can deny that. Mm-hmm. But the fact that if he continues to play like that and play reckless that way, he's going to get hurt a lot and he's going to get hit a lot. Mm-hmm. So I think there's something to it. But unfortunately, if his passing game doesn't get better, that might be his only option. Like, listen, this is nothing new to us in Philly. We've had quarterbacks years past. Donovan McNabb, I remember his first 2 years, he ran the ball all the time. Donovan McNabb, Donovan was actually his own enemy because Donovan was the one that said, I don't want to be a running quarterback, and basically took that out of his game himself. But I always thought, like, even up until the time when he got the real bad injury, that he should have ran more. Because if you run and that's a strength, then use it. Like, I don't understand the faction of people that say, oh, well, he's a running quarterback. Like, I see it with Russell Wilson, with Lamar Jackson. Listen, Lamar Jackson might not be the super, star passer that people want him to be. But what he did on the football field in that one season, which was what, his first season, or was it second? When he threw 36 touchdowns, like, that didn't happen by accident. Right. So he obviously can pass. It's just a matter of, I don't know what it is, but I guess I don't know.
I get what you're saying.
I guess I just get frustrated with everyone wants to have an agenda and everyone wants to have a narrative, and there's never a middle ground. Like, I guess that's why you and I a lot of times do agree, because we kind of toe that middle line. Like, but there's so many extremes, especially in the Eagles fan base. Not just the Eagles.
We can go all the way back to Randall Cunningham and controversies with him as a quarterback. What year was it? I think it was it Ray Rhodes that benched Randall for Rodney Pete, or was it? I just remember the image of Randall Cunningham with his jacket on inside out, all pissed off on the sideline because he got benched. Dude, we've been dealing with the quarterback controversy situation our entire career, our entire life. I call it a career. Being an Eagles fan is a career. It's like a full-time job being an Eagles fan. It really is, because we're constantly dealing with it. And passing or not, at least at this point, and KC said it, there's a world where week 4 we're winless. Dude, I want to backtrack. No, there's not a world where we're winless after 4 weeks this year. Our schedule is so easy to start the season, and I want to bring it back up here just so I don't mess it up. I know we start week 1 in Detroit, and I'm not making predictions, so to say, yet. But you go Detroit, Vikings, Washington to start the season, and Jaguars. They're your first 4 games. There is no scenario that we're any less than 2-2. We're probably 3-1. Hell, you could be 4-0 after the first 4 weeks. There's no world in my mind that we are 0-4. And if we are 0-4 after those first 4 games, I will come on this show and shave my beard. If we are
What will you do? What will you do if Carson Wentz's Washington Commanders beat the Eagles?
Well, that would suck. But I wouldn't be surprised. It's in Washington, that first game. Carson Wentz is going to have weapons in Washington. They're a good team in Washington. They just don't have a quarterback. I've been saying it now for 2 years. All Washington needed was a quarterback. And once they get a quarterback, they would be a good team. I'm not saying Carson Wentz is that quarterback. But look, let's be honest. Carson Wentz didn't have an awful year with the Colts last year. He didn't have a great season. He came up small in big moments.
27-7 is pretty good.
Yeah, it's pretty good. They just came up small in the big games, which is a Carson Wentz thing, I guess. But we're not going to be 0-4. There's no way. I literally will shave my beard live on this show if we are 0-4.
And your head, which you already have.
That's not hard to do. It's already. If you look here, it's all the way back to here where the receding hairline's going. So it wouldn't take much hair off my head if I shaved my head, but the beard would come off if we were 0-4. I guarantee it. And if we're 0-4, I guarantee it, if we're 0-4, we're going to be questioning Jalen Hurts, we're going to be questioning Nick Sirianni, and we're going to be questioning Jonathan Gannon. We're 0-4 after those first 4 games. No doubt about it.
Well, and rightfully so, because I think although this team isn't necessarily ready to be a Super Bowl contender, I think we all agree that it's improved immensely. And if they don't have success early, there's going to be questions, because, I think this team is set up to contend now, not necessarily a Super Bowl, but like you said, the NFC is not as strong as the AFC right now. The AFC is where it's at, especially with the quarterback play. So I think if there's any dark horse team, it's the Eagles, and they did enough moves. When you go and you basically revamp your whole entire defense, and then you go and you got the cornerback that everyone was complaining about that we didn't have cornerback too. You go and get Bradbury. I mean, that to me signals you're all in.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what your thoughts are, but I don't know how you can't think any other way.
Look, I mean, I to the first point, I agree. The NFC is wide open, and I've talked about this a few times already. Let's be honest. There's only one or two teams that you could say 110% are better than the Eagles at this point, and that's the Rams and probably the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. There's question marks on every single other roster. There's a very good scenario. We're the number 3 seat in the NFC. There's a scenario where if Tom Brady starts to fall off a cliff, maybe we're the number 2 seed. There's going to be a lot of teams in that 10-11 win range. You're going to have the Cardinals, the 49ers, the Buccaneers, the Saints, the Packers,
Vikings,
the Cowboys, Washington, even if Carson Wentz plays decent, might be there.
Vikings, too.
The Vikings.
Better coach.
Yeah, I don't know. I never buy the Vikings as long as Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins is kind of like Carson Wentz. Puts up good numbers, but comes up small in the big moments. So, I mean, Kirk Cousins and the Vikings, they could be a 9-8 team, 10-7 team, maybe.
Has Kirk Cousins realistically made the playoffs with the Vikings? I don't think he has.
I don't know if he's ever made I don't know if he's ever made the playoffs. I don't know.
He hasn't, because if you remember, the last time the Vikings, I believe, made the playoffs was 2017 when we beat them in the NFC Championship, and that was Case Keenum at the helm.
Yeah, my Minnesota Viking knowledge is not really. I can't call myself a Viking.
I'm just saying that Kirk Cousins gets a lot of flack, and you're saying that he's not successful like Wentz, but he played with bad Washington teams. Once again, I said
he was equal to Wentz.
I think he's better than Wentz. I think this year, if Dalvin Cook is healthy, I think the Vikings have a very dangerous team. I mean, Justin Jefferson's the best wide receiver in the NFL. Everyone always sleeps on their second wide receiver, Adam Thielen. I mean, that guy puts up numbers every single year. Mm-hmm. And they have a good defense. They've just been injured. I'm not saying that, they're going to be better than the Eagles. I'm just saying that you can't count them out. It's not like they don't have weapons.
Yeah. I don't know. It's interesting. But anyway, to sum this up, we can't, like George says, like you say, like I said, we really aren't going to know the answer until the season starts. And honestly, what are they going to do? Even if Jalen Hurts isn't the guy, are they really going to make a trade midseason? Are they really going to turn the reins of the season over to Gardner Minshew or Carson Strong or I don't even know what Sinet's first name is, honestly. I mean, even if he comes out 1-3, 0-4, like Casey suggests, even if he comes out 2-5 to start the season, is there any scenario in your mind where Jalen Hurts they're not going to bench Jalen Hurts early in the season? They don't have an option. I mean, they're really you do not trade for a Jimmy Garoppolo midseason and think that solves all the problems. So, Jalen Hurts is the guy. Whether we like it, whether we don't, whether we agree with Derrick Gunn or don't, whether we side with A.J. Brown or Derrick Gunn, it doesn't matter anymore. This is the there might be a move made in training camp, but this is the roster. This is your quarterback. This is your team for 2022.
Absolutely.
You got smiles going on there. Is there a stripper off to the side there?
No, I was my dog.
You're smiling like some girl was taking her clothes off to the side there.
No, I was worried about my dog, but then it was a nervous smile. But I'm okay.
Gotcha. I don't know. You just had this like weird
grin.
It
was devious, right?
Yeah, you had a very devious grin.
I had a stripper over here? Jeez, Phil.
Like you were looking over like, yo, shit, I thought you left already to the girl. You didn't know she was still sitting on your couch. Sorry.
Right on.
Sorry,
It's okay. I will. Never mind.
Yeah. No.
This conversation's going wrong way.
No. I think that's a time to pivot. Let's take that moment to pivot off the Eagles. We're going to bring this. We'll talk more Eagles on Friday. We'll see whether we pick it up here at this point or a different come up with a different, angle to take this conversation on Friday. But let's pivot. Next 10 minutes. I want to talk a little bit of Phillies, obviously, because the Phillies have now lost 3 in a row. They've won a whole bunch of games in a row, taking a 2-game wild card lead. Now they've lost 3. Yeah, Freddie. Dog. He was looking at his dog. Yeah, exactly. Of course. Damn, I didn't know you were still here. I paid you. Get out of my house. Don't drink my coffee. The Phillies have now lost 3 in a row. Now they're behind the Cardinals 1 game for that last wild card spot. And I was kind of trying to think of a quick, because I knew we wouldn't have a lot of Phillies talk on the agenda today. Is the Phillies, is it panic time? Is this just what they are, a streaky team, which I know that's your answer because you've been saying it all along? Or is this the end of the honeymoon with Rob Thompson? And we might see some dark times because it kind of looks like they're coasting into the All-Star break to me. And there's still 4 more games. So if they're just coasting for the next 4 games, tonight in Toronto, then 3 in Miami, we might go 1-3 in the next 4 games. And then all of a sudden, that's an awful place to be going into an All-Star break, losing that many games. If they go 1-4, that means they would go 1-7 heading into the All-Star break. That's bad. So where are you with the Phillies at this point?
Once again, I always find myself in the middle. I think there's a little bit of both. I don't think you can necessarily say they're coasting. I think I blame, the guys for, well, I don't blame. It was their decision not to get the vaccine, but they obviously aren't able to play now in Canada. And that hurts. I mean, when you take JT out of your roster, is he the be end all? No, but it's another guy in your stable that's now gone, for 2 games. I think their mentality has to be win at all costs, and I don't see that same fire. I agree. I think Rob Thompson, that the honeymoon could be over. I think it's possible that you're starting to see little signs of kind of going back to the same bad habits that they had prior to him taking over. But I don't think it's panic time necessarily, but I do think they need to get it straightened out quick. I would hope that they resident Canadian checking in. Yeah, I know that we're going to lose. I hope that they can win, a couple games here. I guess I'm just concerned, still about Castellanos. Like I said, he slowly started to show signs of coming out. Like he's still getting hits, but the power numbers are still not there. And I don't know if let's put it this way. I don't think it matters if they make moves. If Castellanos does not perform to what he's capable of performing, I don't know if this team will make the playoffs because we need him to. Like he's the guy. Like Schwarber's doing his part. Schwarber can't carry the whole team though. Maybe he can, but
can I ask you a question? Did you watch last night's game at all?
I didn't. I actually didn't watch.
I was doing golf stuff and I was working.
Busy, yeah.
So I didn't catch the game, and I got it's not offensively speaking. And maybe Armchair can comment if he watched the game last night, the Toronto Phillies game. As a Toronto perspective, I want to know how Mark Appel looked last night. He pitched 3 innings in relief last night. He only gave up 1 run. The first run he's given up, I believe, since he's been called up. In 3 innings, he gave up 5 hits, 1 run, struck a couple batters out. No walks. 43 pitches in 3 innings. He's got a 1.29 ERA. So, yeah, it's probably his first run he's given up since he's come up to the Phillies. We've got a starting pitching problem. Mark Appel's kind of had a revival of his career. He retired. He was a former number 1 overall pick. Then he retired, came back out. Kind of revival as a bullpen piece in AAA. But let's be honest, he was the number 1 overall pick in the MLB draft when he was younger as a starting pitcher. We've got a starting pitching problem, Jason. I've only seen one of Appel's outings, and he looked really good. Is there a scenario where you start stretching Mark Appel out? What do you got to lose at this point of the season?
Dude, you just read. You just stole my
30-year-old guy that was a former number 1 overall pick, having a career revival. Can we stretch him out over the All-Star break and get him to the point where he could pitch 5 innings, 80 pitches, and can he be? Yeah. This part I did see a lot of people texting me and messaging me. Familia, don't ever go against the Familia. That's why he's still for Big Ed. Just so you know, Ed asked me why is Familia still on the team, and I said you never go against the Familia. That's sorry. That's so KC saying he watched and Mark Appel looked great last night. So I asked KC too. Do you make Mark Appel what he was brought into this league to be, a starting pitcher, or does that, Jason? Does that hurt his confidence that he's gained by now all of a sudden pivoting? You just found some success as a reliever. Hey, we need you to be a starter now. Does that?
Why would it hurt his confidence? Honestly, I think it would be the opposite effect. I think if you said to Mark Appel, look, we're hurting at starting pitching, here's your opportunity to stick with the team. Shit, you just used my line. What do we got to lose? At this point, what do you have to lose? The guy's 30 years old. Like, he's not going to be like this young prospect that you bring up and he's like, oh my God, we got, the next whatever. He's not. He's 30 years old. So either he's going to be helpful to the team or you're going to use him as trade piece. I don't know. I
guarantee you, after this show's over, at some point today, I'm putting this out on Twitter as a post. Should they do it? And I guarantee tomorrow we're going to be bringing this up again because I'm curious to see what the fans think. Should Mark Appel? And I'm sure I'm going to have some people saying you're an idiot.
Yeah, you'll get the troll.
I'm sure we're already thinking of certain people that are going to call me an idiot.
The troll.
Just because as soon as I say I could say Mark Appel sucks, everyone certain people would tell me he's great. If I said he was great, those same people would tell me he sucks. But that's just the way it works. It was just something that, like I said, I didn't get to watch the game because bullpen games suck. And I want to get to Rob Thompson again. So we had another bullpen game. First, we used Chris Sanchez. I know we can't use Falter because he couldn't go up to Toronto because he's not on the vax list. Then we used Chris Sanchez out of the bullpen in a bullpen. And then last night, he decides to use Bilotti, who he was just using as a closer a week ago. Does Rob Thompson not know how to do a bullpen game? Shouldn't you be using the same guys regularly, Nick Nelson or Chris Sanchez, as these bullpen starters? You don't use guys that you were just using in high leverage situations that can only go 1 inning to start a bullpen game. You go with a guy. You should, if you were going to go Mark Appel for 3 innings yesterday, if that was the plan, he should have been the guy that started the game. And this is just where I'm starting to lose a little confidence in in Rob Thompson. Still having Castellanos in the 3-hole, not knowing how to manage a bullpen game. It's where he's starting to show the kinks in the armor that he's never been the boss. He's always been the consigliere. I got to throw some Sopranos and gangster stuff in here. I haven't even brought up the Paulie Walnuts passed away this past weekend. It really broke my heart to see that. That one of the greatest TV characters of all time passed away this weekend. So I'm going to throw some gangster lingo into this conversation. Rob Thompson's never been the number one guy. Tony Soprano once said, "You don't understand the pressure of making these decisions to be the number one guy, to have the weight of the whole family on your shoulders." Rob Thompson's maybe starting to show why he's never been the number one guy before. I don't know. Thoughts on all that?
I think you bring up a valid point. I honestly, just because he's had success early doesn't necessarily mean that long-term he's going to be a successful manager. But I do think you've seen bits and pieces and signs that where he is good. He's good at allowing his players to he's letting the young guys play. I love that part about Rob Thompson. He's showing confidence in his players, probably maybe too much confidence by allowing Castellanos to stick in the 3-hole. I think that's where he needs to be more aggressive and say, dude, I need to make a change here. He needs to go to Castellanos and say, look, I'm taking you out of the 3-hole. Mm-hmm. You're hurting us more than you're helping us. I'm not doing it to hurt you. I'm doing it to help you get out of this slump. That's what he needs to do. And I don't know if he's scared to have that conversation, because it's Castellanos and the money he's getting. I don't know what it is, but he does not. He can't keep letting Castellanos fail in the 3-hole. He's not helping the team. It's obvious, dude. I mean, people are seeing it. Like, I get it that it's baseball and it's long, and I'm always the one that says preach patience. And and it's a game of slumps, and he's in one of his, he's in a career slump right now. But you're not helping the dude by putting him in the 3-hole when it's the most, if not the most stressful position in your lineup, because he's not producing the power numbers. He's getting an RBI here or there, but he's not knocking in runs. And that's what he was brought here to do. And you can't move Schwarber out of the 1-hole. I get that because of the whole, you don't want to mess up his mojo. See, I actually believe the opposite. If I was the Phillies, I would put Schwarber in the 3-hole just because he's the guy that has your most power. And instead of being a solo home run, he's going to knock in, multiple runs. But he can do that in the 1-hole when it's not the first time through the lineup. So it's not that Schwarber's not producing. You look at, he almost has 60 RBIs, I believe. So he's still producing, and even in the 1-hole. But Castellanos, please, Rob Thompson, make a change. Put the guy in the 6-hole. Do something. Because what you're doing right now is not working. And I agree with you, Phil. I think you're starting to see that the honeymoon has worn off. Now it's the time where it's going to be run, gun. Like it's run and gun. It's playoff time. Like this is the push. So you got to get through this All-Star break, and then you got to be on your toes. So I don't know what your thoughts are, but
hey, look, I think the Phillies win tonight. You got Zach Wheeler going. It's going to be a tough game, another low-scoring game, and we'll see how it goes in Miami. We might be talking Monday morning on this show about how bad. I mean, we going into the All-Star break. I don't know. I don't have confidence of us winning more than 1 or 2. We're going to go 1-3, maybe 2-2 in the next 4 games, and we're going to have a really bitter taste in our mouth in the All-Star break. Hoping Kyle Schwarber in the home run derby, which we'll talk about that on Monday. How great that is. I'm excited for that. Jason, how would you switch it up? I would have Castellanos in the 4-hole or 6-hole. No, Kyle Schwarber would stay in leadoff for me. Probably Hoskins in the 3-hole. Jason, what are your thoughts? Who would you put in the 3-hole right now?
Probably would have put Boom, but
yeah,
now
we might have dodged the bullet. He might be back in a few days, depending on the pain. So we might have dodged the bullet there. I would probably go Hoskins, maybe Bohm 3, Hoskins 4.
I was saying Bohm 3 because Bohm has actually been consistent.
Yeah,
because you don't need a home run hitter. You need a guy that's going to drive in runs.
Paul stays in the 4-hole for me. So yeah, all right. I want to wrap the show up real quick because it made me. I made some jokes, and Freddie with a great quote here. He killed 16 Czechoslovakians. The guy was an interior decorator. One of the greatest lines from one of the greatest shows of all time, Tony, The Sopranos. Obviously, Anthony, let's say his full name, Anthony Sirico Jr. passed away this weekend. One of the most legendary gangster actors. I mean, most people only know him from The Sopranos, but he was in Goodfellas. Because every gangster movie, he had some form of a role in it. And I know you've watched The Sopranos recently. One of the greatest bit characters of all time. And I want to tell a little story about Anthony Sirico that most people that aren't diehard Sopranos or gangster fans like I am don't know about him. And Jason, I don't know if you've ever heard this story. So Anthony Sirico, he was actually a foot soldier in a mafia in a mafia family before he became an actor. And when he did some small time in jail, like little, for little mini crimes and stuff like that. When he became an actor, he made sure to have put into every single one of his contracts a little blurb before he would sign on for any movie or TV role. There had to be something in his contract for one tiny little thing. He would never play a rat because he was so ingrained that you should never be a rat from his time in organized crime, we'll call it, that he never wanted to play a role. That's why you never saw Paul Gutierrez in The Sopranos. There were some little thoughts that here or there in different parts of the show. Is he going to be a rat? Is he going to go against the family? And he never did. Because as a real life person, the person, Tony, was ingrained never to be a rat. He refused to ever play a rat in a show. And I love that little side story that I heard about him, later on in his career and stuff like that.
I mean, hell, the fact that he was a real life mobster, I mean, that's amazing. I mean, who would be a better choice to
he
play
never
it?
made it high up like he did in The Sopranos. He was never a top guy, a captain.
But I'm saying, whether foot soldier or not, he still had experience that a lot of people never had, or actors would probably never touch.
Absolutely.
So to have that to me just gives you so much more credit. I mean,
that's
that's
a real thing. Yeah, exactly.
Street cred, dude.
That's ultimate street cred right there. All right, we're gonna wrap up trending in the AM right there. Great show today, Jason. Absolutely blast talking this. Again, if you're watching this show on YouTube, make sure you hit the like and subscribe, especially if you're watching it on replay. Do me a favor, hit that subscribe button. I'm running a contest. I'm personally going to give away 2 tickets to any Eagles game in 2022 if we hit 1,000 subscribers by July 26th, the opening of camp. It's a bold thing, but that, you know what? A big prize like 2 free Eagles tickets, it's a lot of money coming out of my pocket. So we got to have a bold goal to give away a bold prize. So make sure you tell your friends. Send this link to every friend you know. We get to that 1,000 mark by July 26th, 2 weeks. 2 free Eagles tickets. So please help us. If you're watching on other outlets, Facebook, Twitter, wherever it may be, Twitch, great. Follow us on those sites, share it out on those sites, but head over to the YouTube page for me. Trying to hit that 1,000 subscriber. Still got like 400 some to go, but it's doable. 400 people, send it out to 400 friends. Boom, done. So I appreciate any of all support. Greatly appreciate it all. Again, great show today talking Derrick Gunn, Jalen Hurts, the Phillies, Tony Sirico. I am Phil Stipe, your host at Beard of Knowledge. Make sure you shoot me a follow. My main man, Jason Voorhees, next to me at Mustang3651. Be right back tomorrow, 8:30 a.m. because we are the first morning show on YouTube every single day in the Philadelphia media. Hey, everybody, let's ring that bell and go Birds.
Go Birds.